Be me. 21. Junior at a decent state university. Psych major with a women's studies minor. Heavily involved in campus feminist orgs. Not the Tumblr type, more like theory girl boss. Can quote bell hooks and Audre Lorde from memory. Twitter bio says she, her, feminist, anti-misogyny content. Also have a semi-active TikTok where I do feminist stitches. Mock clips from podcasts and Manosphere reels. Lots of pointing out problematic takes. Sometimes get 10 to 20K views. Feels like I'm educating people. Also feels like my whole personality now. Get into a class called Contemporary Social Dynamics. Mixed major, discussion-based. Some real debates happen. Guy who sits in the back never talks. Hoodie, pale, looks perpetually tired. He has that definitely online vibe. Assume he's one of those guys. You know the type. Anime PFP, posts on Reddit, maybe rants about female nature. Mentally label him Incel. Don't think about it again. Week 4, we get assigned group projects. Guess who my partner is? Yep, Marcus. Hadn't even known his name until now. Prof assigns it randomly. Can't swap. Internally brace myself for an awkward 2 weeks. We meet in the library. I try to open with small talk. He just nods and says, "You want to split it evenly?" Polite, but distant. Agree to do a shared slideshow on social isolation and identity formation. I pick gender politics in social media. Expect him to do something bland like screen time and loneliness. Lol, no. Next meeting, he brings a notebook. Handwritten notes. Starts talking about how young men build identities out of rejection. Says things like, when boys don't get attention, they don't disappear. They just change form. Says he thinks isolation doesn't start online. It just solidifies there. Sounds thoughtful? Like painfully honest. Ask where he got his info. He pauses and says, mostly just living it. Ask what he means. He shrugs. Says he hasn't had a real friend since high school. Tried therapy, but felt like he was being told to act more like someone else. Said he tried dating twice. One ghosted, one laughed at him to her friends. Found out through Snapchat. He says it without malice. Just a guy telling a fact. He looks away and mutters, I don't really belong anywhere, I think. For the first time in a while, I have no prepared response. No quote, no TikTok reference. Just a strange knot in my chest. We keep meeting. He always shows up on time. He always brings his notes and never checks his phone. One day, I say something snarky about Andrew Tate and expect him to defend it. He just says, I think guys like that only get popular because no one else is talking to lonely men. It hits hard because I've made a living mocking those men and never once asked why they follow him and ask if he still considers himself an incel. He shrugs. I don't call myself anything. Doesn't really change that I eat dinner alone every night. I sit there, trying to imagine eating every meal in silence, and has tried to imagine what it would feel like to never have been on a date, to never be touched, to never be told you're wanted, and realize I've always had that. Even at my worst, someone always wanted me. I never considered that a privilege. Our project presentation goes great, and the professor calls it one of the most sincere and nuanced group submissions. Class claps, and Marcus just nods and says, thanks. After class, I hear 2 girls whisper, crazy how he ended up with her. She's so online. and they're talking about me. Laugh it off, but it stings. Next day, I see Marcus eating alone outside, and I walk past, and something pulls me back. I sit down across from him. He looks startled, and then smiles, kinda awkward. I ask what he's reading, and he says he's rereading Catcher in the Rye, and says he relates too much to Holden. Everyone thinks he's a jerk, but he's just tired of fake people. And ask him if he thinks I'm fake. He looks at me, and long pause. Then says, I think you're trying really hard to be the right kind of wrong person. I literally have no comeback. Just blink and then laugh. Because it's true. We talk for over an hour about nothing and everything. Childhood, how college feels like a performance, and how sometimes you say the right things and still feel hollow. He tells me he used to write poems but stopped. I tell him I used to write short stories. And we both say we don't anymore. We both know why. See him twice more that week. Never plan it. Just kind of happens. People start noticing. Get a DM from one of the girls in my feminist club. Are you like mentoring him or something? Say no. Why? She replies, he gives incel vibes. Just be careful. Get defensive. But also realize, I would have said the same thing 3 months ago. Friday. A love. Marcus shows me a YouTube channel where he narrates essays. Like softly spoken commentary about media and masculinity. Low view count, but really thoughtful. On why he never mentioned it says, I assumed no one cared. His voice is more soothing than any podcast I've listened to. I've built an audience off anger. He's built one off insight. Final week of class. Professor asks us to reflect. I stay after. Thank Marcus for being a good partner. He says, thanks for actually seeing me. Most people just skim. I go home, stare at my TikTok drafts. So many clips of men being stupid, rude, arrogant. I delete half of them. Start recording a new one. Say something I never thought I would. Sometimes the people we label the harshest are the ones who've been hurt the most quietly. Upload it. Comments go wild. Half supportive, half accusing me of being a pick-me. Don't care. It's not about defending men. It's about realizing they're human, just like I am. Marcus taught me that. Not with arguments, not with threads or think pieces, just by existing and letting me see the cracks without shame. Never dated him, never kissed. He transferred schools next semester. We still message sometimes. He sent me one of his poems. It's about a moth landing on someone's hand without fear. I think it's about me. The incel reminded me what empathy looks like. He never tried to change me. I did anyway.